All right. It is New Year's Eve. It's the last lift of 2024. It is back day. Today I will probably focus on lats and mid-back. Mainly rows, maybe one thing of pull downs. I'm not really trying to get much width right now. I mainly just want like depth and just thickness, thicker back muscles. I'm working on a instability. My left lat is slightly smaller, at least I think it is, than my right. It might just be the muscle insertion point and I can't really change it. So I might hit my left side a little bit harder than my right. But it'll mostly be rowing to really just build that, thick back that you can just see through clothes. For back, I like doing a lot of like flexion kind of base rows, which is where your back bends a lot. It's when you're starting out, it can be kind of rough on your lower back, but and you have to use less weight. But for me, I just get a way better back pump when pretty much anything, when I really just hip hinge and just let the weight really pull my back apart. So I'll show you guys a little bit of that. I might do some free weight barbell rows, actually. I'll do them on a deficit. Those are one of my favorite. It's just those are so taxing on my lower back. Even with a belt, it's just brutal. But it's not necessarily a bad thing. As long as I'm recovered for either my leg day or next back day. Either way, I like doing those. I also like the V-bar, like landmine kind of rows. Those feel really good, but those are even worse for my back. But not like in a totally bad way. It just stresses my lower back a lot. Even though my spinal erectors are pretty sizable, still just trying to stabilize that much is tough. I might even throw in some forearms, and maybe like a bicep emphasized kind of row, like an underhand grip, something like that, just to like hit the biceps just a little bit harder. And then I'll probably do some forearm curls and maybe reverse curls, maybe. But your forearms and your biceps get hit quite a bit during back movements. Even with straps, you'll still, you still got to hold on to it, and straps don't do all the work for you. So, but I would definitely suggest using straps. I went for a while not using straps just because I thought it was the, alpha male, like, oh, I don't need straps. Straps are for babies that can't lift a weight. And then I tried straps and, put 50 pounds on my lat pull down and maxed out the lat pull down. So definitely don't skip out on straps. I think if you're just starting, or you're with or without straps, you're not using a whole ton of weight, I would say ditch the straps. But if it gets to the point where your grip is so limited and you're, oh yeah, that was a good set, but you probably could have done 5 more, but your forearms just gave out on you, I think it's time to use some straps. So I think that's something I had to grow out of, is that mentality. It's not that big a deal though. I mean, I think I definitely lost a little bit of time on my back training, but I mean, this whole thing is a time game. It's kind of like the whole point. So I'm not too upset. It's a lesson learned. So, but yeah, mainly it's just building thickness over width right now. And since I'm on a mass gaining phase, building strength too. So I'm not too worried about details of how I look, because it's not really what I'm here for right now. When I cut back down, you kind of just maintain your training intensity. You shouldn't really go up in weight. And then you slowly cut back the fat to reveal the muscle you built. Training when you're cutting is really just to maintain what you build, not to build anymore. So it's I'll still do pose downs and wear a cutoff or a stringer, but looking perfect isn't really the goal right now. And if you're focused on looking perfect year round, I feel like you're just selling yourself short in a sense. It's such a even main gaining, where you're in just a slight surplus, that's still making progress. But it's trying to look the same look shredded year round is really difficult. And a lot of these guys on social media, it's commendable because they look great, but I mean, they gotta feel awful. I mean, I know I do when I try and cut down. So it's I guess it's a price they're willing to pay. But even top bodybuilders aren't shredded year round. I mean, they, at least compared to their show weight or show stage body fat percentage, they might be shredded compared to the general population, but that's kind of the point. They're not the general population. So you shouldn't really be basing your decision choices on what the Mr. Olympia is doing. Because let's be honest, even if we have elite genetics, we will never look like them or exactly like them. Can really only look like you. So focus on being the best you. I mean, you can aspire to get to a similar body fat percentage, muscularity, whatever, but you can't look exactly like them. You can't say, I want Chris Bumstead's physique. You can't have it. You might be similar in some ways, but I mean, his genetics are his genetics. It doesn't really change. But we will hit back today. Looks like nobody is at the gym, which is great for me. I will see you guys inside. All right. Yeah, so I'm going to warm up with one plate. Like I said, I'm doing it on a step so I get a deeper stretch at the bottom. I'm not just trying to move my arms. I really want my back to do most of the pulling. So I'll step up onto here, and all the way at the bottom is basically touching your toes. So, you know, it's a brutal stretch. So I'll do one set of these. I'll throw some straps on and probably do like 2 plates or something. Oof. 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 Yeah. Yeah, I love how these feel. Yeah, so like I was saying, I think that you should definitely be using straps. Basically, for any excuse to use straps possible, because it'll literally just make your back movement stronger. And I understand people wanting to grow their forearms, and I think depending on what movement, that can be somewhat applicable, but don't try and like hack the system and only I mean, your back is so much stronger than your forearms. Of course your forearms are going to give out before your back. It just doesn't make much sense. And using chalk and not are 2 completely different things. So using chalk is like using straps. It's not, you can't use that argument of like, oh, strong men use chalk, they don't use straps, which 1, isn't true, but 2, it's chalk gives you way more grip, so your forearms don't have to work as hard. So it's essentially the same thing, but straps are better for a public gym because they don't make a mess. So just cool it and use your straps. All right, so 225. I want to get probably 10 to 12 reps. You know, hopefully my lower back isn't the thing that gives out first, but I might have to throw in my belt. Oh man. Yeah. I love how those feel. They're so difficult, but it's so rewarding. I just feel every back muscle contracting and just pulling apart at the bottom. I'd say for me, the deficit barbell row has to be one of the best movements I do regularly. Maybe I'll probably do one more with this weight. I might lower it back down or just move on to something else. All right, so yeah, I decided to throw my belt on. My lower back started to pump up even after the set. So just to keep my lower back from being the limiting factor, I'll usually throw my belt on after a couple of sets. I must have ate pretty good today if I'm getting pumped that early, but all right. Yeah, I think just one more for the free weight stuff for now. Ooh. Oh man. Yeah, those suck. Oh man. I think a chest supported something should work. So on this one, I'm gonna do 2 plates first, and I'll move to 3 plates after I feel this one out. I like doing this one one arm at a time. I really feel a better lat stretch. Now this one's just like a row. Well, it is a row, but it's kind of like when you let the dumbbell or barbell drift forward in front of you when you do a normal row, and it really hits the lats a lot harder than a normal barbell row would. That's weird. There's nobody here, but I smell a vape for some reason. Huh. That's off-putting. And I like really stretching and really contracting. Really twisting into both parts of the movement. All right. Whew. Yeah. I'll throw some straps on and do 3 plates. You know, it's weird. I've noticed when you do half reps on a chest movement, the easiest part of the movement is the like stretch, which is supposedly the most growth promoting. And same thing with pulling movements. You know, that lockout is the hardest, but the stretch is the even though it's the easiest, it's the most growth promoting. But when somebody says they're doing half reps, it's always in the harder position. It's like, you know, I mean, I guess like going all the way down and all the way back up is hard, but going from like all the way down to like halfway up, that's way less hard on a bench press than the lockout. But people will stop before then just to finish the rep. So I think unless you're training for strength, if you're training for hypertrophy, I think this like doing full reps, it overall is, I think, counterproductive. Like, I think we should focus less on finishing reps and more providing as much tension on the muscle as possible. Because people get caught up in the how many reps they're doing, even though it doesn't really matter. It's just the amount of time that the muscle is under tension, which at both lockout points, if I were to stretch all the way and have the machine bottom out, I'm no longer putting tension on the muscle. But if I put the seat lower and the full lockout is still not touching, then I'm growing even more by holding that stretch. So, and then I can bust out some partials and really milk the eccentric. I think that's got to be something we start doing, is stop counting reps, because I feel like if you say, oh, I'm going for, even though I just did it, going for 10 reps, as soon as you get 10, you're like, oh, I completed the goal. But you probably could have done more. And I think once you get really experienced, I think you can kind of estimate where you're going to be with, like, I could have done more partials on those rows, but I don't think I could have done another and a total full rep, even though I only did about 8 full reps and then did about 2 partials. So I think focus less on doing set number of reps and focus on putting tension on the muscle. Same thing with your forearms. Like, your forearm's not doing a rep as they're holding you. So the theory of growing your forearm doesn't apply the same. Oh, man. Something about that is so tiring. All right, pull downs with a close grip. I like doing this one because I can do less weight than with the standard grip, or even a like shoulder width neutral grip. So I just like making movements a little bit harder. Yeah, I like these. After those other rows, though, this might be a little too heavy. I normally don't do this in the middle of my workout. I would normally do a pull down first, but I really wanted to do those barbell rows. So yeah, just a little bit lighter. And after this set, I'll see if I should do like pullovers or something instead of another set. Or maybe pull-ups. Actually, pull-ups sound fun. Yeah, I'll do pull-ups. Oh, holy. Yeah. The stretch I get on my lats. That last rep is crazy on these. Yeah. Since my lats are pre-fatigued, we can do some pull-ups. Those hurt my shoulder a lot. Alright, I'll rest and try that again. Oh. I feel better. I think the wide grip just kind of hurts my rotator cuff for some reason. I like these because I can really twist and squeeze my lat, just give a little different stimulus than a normal row, especially if you feel like you're trying to drag like a hook into the ground. Really like flares your lats when you do that and gives a great squeeze. All right. I think it's time for the pose down. Oh man. All right. Good back day.